Hello, my name is Morgan Middleton. I want to start by asking, how do you think we can prevent obesity in America? By show of hands, how many do you think A? B? And C? Alright, so a majority of you guys did guess B, which is actually what I wrote my report on. I wrote a recommendation report on implementing a nutrition course into the 5th grade curriculum. So my original research question was, would a preventative approach to child obesity be more effective than the treatment of obesity? And my hypothesis, I guess, yes, because with our current obesity rates where they're at right now, clearly our focus needs to be changed to a preventative approach. And so I thought maybe the first step into doing so would be implementing an early nutrition education. So I chose this topic because children have always been a huge passion of mine. I've babysat ever since I've been like 12, and I've nannied for the last 2 summers, and I loved it. Nutrition has also been a huge passion of mine. I'm currently in the didactics program for dietetics, on track to becoming a registered dietitian, hoping, one day to specialize with children and nutrition. My rhetorical situation is that I am currently a registered dietitian at the Amplatz Children's Hospital, and with our last annual review session with all the registered dietitians in Minnesota, we discussed the current obesity epidemic. And with the help of Centers for Disease Control, we found that child obesity ages 6 through 11 have more than doubled in the last 30 years, along with adolescent obesity, ages between 12 and 19 have more than quadrupled. So we decided that obviously as a state we need to try to figure out ways to prevent this from occurring. We decided to write a proposal to the Minnesota Board of Education, asking them, or trying to recommend to them to implement a nutrition course into the 5th grade curriculum. We chose 5th graders because that is about the start of adolescence, that's the start of puberty, that is the start when nutrition is really important for their growth and development. And we decided to figure out the strengths and weaknesses of what they do know about nutrition currently by conducting a survey. Out of the research triangle, I did use actually all 3 corners, and you can see these are just lists of some of them. So I contacted 12 different schools to ask if they want to participate in the survey, and 8 responded that they were interested. So out of those 8 schools, 1 5th grade class was randomly chosen to participate in the survey. The survey was an online survey that was given to the students and that they were going to take individually, and then their answers would be submitted to me. This is actually an example of just a part of the survey that I gave. My survey involved 13 questions. Some were yes and no, some were multiple choice, and some, as you can see, were like short answer. And so the questions just involved, what the daily intake the kids have now, what they do kind of know about nutrition. And I included some images, like this is the USDA's MyPlate. USDA created the MyPlate, which took over the MyPyramid. It's an easy food guide. They made it easier for kids to understand of this is what a healthy meal should consist of and the portions of each of the food groups. And then also I brought on a picture of like a snack-sized bag of Cheetos, and I asked some questions pertaining to that. So a total of 197 students had completed the survey, and I got the answers to. And this is kind of like what it looks like, what I received after they answered. So it has, the age, the gender, and then what school you go to. So here you can see I have 2 of the schools. Some of the questions I asked was 2 to 3 snacks you opt in after school, and those range. Some kids answered candy, some answered granola bars, one kid I think answered oats. I don't really know what that meant, but and so they did know a lot. When I asked them questions about, in the section labeled vegetables on MyPlate, what food would not belong, and I think all but 1 got that one wrong, or got that one right, and the answer was cheese, so that's correct. But some of the answers that did stand out to me though, was when asking if they've ever seen the icon MyPlate, 136 out of 197 students said they have, so great, they're familiar with it. So then I asked them questions pertaining to the MyPlate, and one was asking them to list food items that were high sources of protein. 102 students were able to answer that correctly by listing like meat, like chicken and steak or eggs, but 70 students did not answer correctly. They listed food items like grapes and graham crackers, and they must not really had an idea of what protein was. And then another question was if they could list for me a healthy meal. And the majority of the answers were water and something else. So like water and a steak, water and a banana. So it's great that they have seen the MyPlate, but they're obviously not understanding what USDA's message is trying to give. It's like, this is what the components of what a healthy meal should be. And also another concern was when asking about the food label, I asked the students if they could give me what the total amount of grams of fat were for the whole bag. And in order for them to answer that correctly, they would have to know that there are 2 servings in this snack-sized bag of Cheetos. So even though it says 11 grams of fat, they would have to know to look at the serving size and multiply it by 2. So 53 students did answer that correctly, but 104 did not. And so after analyzing the results, they did know, most things about nutrition, but there are some concerns that we need to start teaching them. So my overall recommendation is to add a nutrition course into the 5th grade curriculum. I think schools are in a really unique position because kids are attending school from ages 3 and 4 all the way to 18, 19, and throughout those years they are being offered 1 to even 2 meals a day. And so with a school already providing, they can already provide healthy meals, I think it's now time that we start teaching students, especially 5th graders, why is this meal healthy, what is nutrition, and why is it so important. And also by us teaching kids early on about nutrition, they can obtain healthy lifestyle habits that they could have for the rest of their life, and they can start teaching their children about it. And hopefully we can reduce these rates because children are our future. And so if we're trying to prevent obesity, then we have to start teaching them now. Any questions? Yeah.
Right. So I was wondering how intensive of like a nutrition class would you want to see for 5th graders?
Yeah, I mean, not so intense. I mean, they're at their level, they can just start comprehending, health and nutrition. So just, it's kind of like the general, like when I had that survey, I just, just so they can understand what the My Plate is for, understand to maybe look at a food label and know, hey, in this snack, there's 2 serving sizes, not anything like in-depth nutrition that's like, well, these are all the carbohydrates and all, just general nutrition, just so they can start getting an idea. Right now.
Do you think it would be a good idea to involve the parents? And because I know from experience, some of my friends are like, oh, I'm just going to go to McDonald's. I don't want to cook for my kids today.
And absolutely, and that was, a big concern with the study I had is, a lot of people are like, well, the parents are the people that buy the groceries. And I think that with that, I think we would try to get the parents involved by maybe sending out newsletters and all that. And, sometimes parents are just like, they don't have the time to cook. They don't. But with at least teaching kids nutrition in class, they can at least start making healthy decisions with the school lunch they have. Instead of throwing out the apple, then maybe know, like, hey, maybe I will eat this. Because they, like I said, they do have like 1 to 2 meals that they can choose to eat healthy. Yeah.
This is Alyssa. I was just curious, I guess, the demographics of those who were surveyed, like were they all in like the urban region or
yeah, so
rural?
I should have listed actually the schools I asked. So I actually asked 8 different public schools, and they're kind of around Minnesota. They were like south. I asked. Let me see. I asked in. I'm blanking, but yeah, I just asked like a bunch of surrounding schools, and like I said, I contacted 12, and only 8 got back to me, and so yeah. So, but they were surrounding, and I should have actually included that, but I didn't. Yeah.
This is Jake. Is there any concern that 5th grade is even too late to start educating on nutrition?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I feel like you can't start even too early. I just thought I'd focus on 5th grade because that is, the start of adolescence, the start of puberty, and the start of like them understanding that you're growing. This is why nutrition is healthy. But I mean, it could be that it's too late. But I just think starting somewhere. So.